Eagles country, let's fly. Philadelphia Eagles now presented to you by a brand new sponsor that we're really pumped up about here at Chat Sports in Butcher Box. High quality meat and seafood delivered right to your doorstep. Also, they're offering you free chicken for a year. We'll tell you how you can get that deal by heading to butcherbox.com/NFL Daily and relay more information about this brand new sponsor coming up here in just a few moments. As for what we're talking about on today's show, Andre Dillard underwent surgery on that broken forearm. Howie Roseman on the Angelo Cataldi show admitting the mistake of taking Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. And at the end of the program, I'm going to explain why Howie Roseman deserves props. But we begin with Andre Dillard, announced today that he is going to go on IR. So at the very least, he's going to miss the first 4 games of the season. Underwent surgery today on that broken forearm. And really the expected timetable here for him to get back on the football field between 4 to 6 weeks. And the surgery really isn't all that severe. It's really just supposed to stabilize the arm, but it is bad enough where Andre Dillard goes on IR. A lot of teams do this because they understand that the recovery process is going to take a little while. It also opens up and frees up a roster spot on the 53. But Ian Rappaport basically confirming the news that we knew was going to happen, that Andre Dillard going to start the year on injured reserve, and then that timeline between 4 and 6 weeks. And really the latest with Dillard, you got to look at this from a couple of different scenarios. This really does diminish his trade value in a potential trade. No team is going to trade for him knowing that he can't help you out for the first month and a half of the year. And that's if the Philadelphia Eagles were even going to trade away Andre Dillard, who I do think does have a lot of value on the trade market, playing left tackle, premium position, former first-round pick. And another team out there probably thinks that they can get and maximize the best out of Andre Dillard. And then also, you better hope that there's no injury to Jordan Mailata. Really, my team-building philosophy, very much like Howie Roseman's. You build along the offensive line, you build along the defensive line. Of course, at the top of the list that you have to get a quarterback. But if you have bad offensive line play, that can really derail any hopes that you have of being a legitimate Super Bowl contender. So here's to hoping that Jordan Mailata, the Australian freak, does stay upright, healthy, and on the football field, because Andre Dillard not going to be available for this team for the foreseeable future. But with week 1 coming up around the corner, I want to see where the fan base is at. And I want to gauge the level of confidence in the Birds going into week 1 against the Detroit Lions. Who do you think gets the dub? I want to see everybody typing that E down below. E for the Eagles, L for the Lions. Get those predictions in right now. And as we continue to grow here at Chat Sports, of course, we're going to be doing a game preview this week against the Lions. We're going to be entering live shows into the fold, whether I'm here at the Chat Sports studios or at home, always bringing you the best Eagles content. This is the standard moving forward, and the goal by the end of the football season, 50,000 subscribers, because I totally envision this being the best and most go-to Eagles channel right here on YouTube. So hit that red sub button right now. As for Howie Roseman on the Angelo Cataldi show this morning on 94 WIP, he admitted his mistake of taking Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. And what he had to say I thought was really interesting, but this is really the first time that he owned up to really just taking a huge swing and a miss in the draft a couple of years ago. And you have to give credit where credit is due here with Howie Roseman, who at times throughout his Eagles tenure has been a little bit standoffish. He's been a little bit stubborn. It's not easy in the pressure cooker of Philadelphia, in that market, with this fan base, to admit your mistakes, to admit your wrongdoings, to admit your flaws. But when it's blatantly clear, you can't try to sell your fan base something that they're not going to want to get sold to them. You have to admit to you making that massive mistake, and that's what Howie Roseman finally was able to do. As for what exactly he had to say, we're going to tell you around the corner, because I do have some thoughts on what Howie Roseman did say to Angelo Cataldi. But first, I told you that we were going to tell you about our brand new sponsor here at Chat Sports in Butcher Box. If you go to butcherbox.com/NFL Daily, you get high quality meat and seafood. And what Butcher Box does, they take the guesswork out of finding Really high quality meat and seafood that you can trust. 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork-raised crate-free and wild-caught seafood, all humanely raised. No antibiotics or added hormones. That's really big for me because I try to eat all organic. After my mom passed away of cancer, I take my diet really, really strictly. And you get just what you want, delivered right to the comfort of your own home, right to your doorstep, free shipping for the continental U.S., and no surprise fees. And you can enjoy a range of high-quality cuts that are hard to come by at the grocery store at an absolutely amazing value. And I did say a little bit earlier, you can get free chicken for a year. Take chicken breasts off your grocery list because ButcherBox is offering our viewers and our listeners an incredible deal that they've never offered before. Free chicken for a year if you head to butcherbox.com/NFL Daily. 2 pounds of free-range organic chicken breasts for free in every order. Every order when you sign up at butcherbox.com/NFL Daily and use the code NFL Daily. Claim this deal. One more time, butcherbox.com/NFL Daily and use the code NFL Daily. All of that information available in the comment section and the description of this video. More on Howie Roseman admitting that mistake on taking Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. And it's funny because both of these players, as we talked about during our live show last week, are on the same team now with the Minnesota Vikings. Howie Roseman on Reagor. I think one of my many weaknesses is that I spend more time thinking about my mistakes than I do any of the successes that we may have had. I think it continuously motivates me to get better. Whenever we do something like that, I go back and I look at the process and how we came to that decision. It's obvious. I'm not going to sit here and lie. We'd love to have that moment back. I believe that all of these moments, they lead you to where you're getting. Like I feel like we won a world championship. There were some mistakes made in that process, but they lead us to get to where we want to be. I can't go back in time and change it. All I can do is to try and learn from it and get better. And all of this can kind of be true at the same time. There have been some abysmal misses by Howie Roseman in the NFL draft, specifically at that wide receiver spot. Reagor before Justin Jefferson, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside ahead of DK Metcalf. And it's one thing to continue to fail. It's another, though, to own up to your flaws and then make up for them and improve your football team by basically forgetting about those mistakes, leave them in the rear view, and that's what Howie Roseman was able to do with the Slim Reaper and Devontae Smith, as well as that trade acquisition on draft night for A.J. Brown. Now, obviously, Jefferson is by far and away the more elite player as compared to Jalen Reagor. First 2 years in the league, north of 3,000 receiving yards, 17 touchdowns, 196 catches, 15 and a half yards per catch for JJ. And then for Jalen Reagor, it's not been good, folks. And I don't think it's going to get much better for the Minnesota Vikings because, frankly, I don't think he has much explosion. I don't think he's really that special of a player. I just haven't seen it translate to the game field. You have Jefferson with the combined 3,000 yards in receiving over his first 2 years. And then Reagor hasn't been able to surpass 400 yards in each of his first 2 years in the National Football League. Now, again, Howie Roseman deserves credit because he moved up to take Devontae Smith. And then he traded for A.J. Brown. Both of those deals, in my opinion, very good value. Of course, you'd like to have Justin Jefferson on this team because he's better than both Smith as well as A.J. Brown, but at least you were able to bulk up that receiving core. More from Roseman on drafting Reagor. This is really also coming down to fit. That's what the Eagles wanted. Fit instead of the better player. I think a lot of the message there is we just have to take the best players at all times. We don't have to worry so much about fit or what we have on the team. You go back to that moment, we had two tight ends who are really good in the middle of the field. Greg Ward was coming off a really good year in the slot. We're looking for a specific role as opposed to just grading players. And that's on me 100%. At the end of the day, I'm responsible for all of that. But I also promise you one thing. If I make a mistake, I'm going to do everything in my power to make it up. And that's exactly what Howie Roseman has been able to do. He's been able to make it up to the Philadelphia Eagles fan base, which is great. And we've seen a little bit of a change in their draft philosophy. Remember, oddly and weirdly enough, how Howie Roseman just outright refused to draft players from football powerhouses like Alabama and Georgia? They try to make the smarter pick and maybe go after a position of need instead of just going after a dog, instead of just going after the right player. Now, finally, they've changed that. And also, on top of everything that we've discussed today, finally investing in that linebacker position. So with that, I do want to round out with another poll question on today's show. Where do you think that Howie Roseman ranks among all NFL general managers? Do you think he's elite, type E? Do you think he's just solid and average, type S? If you think he's B for bad, let me know in the comment section. As always, appreciate all of you for watching today's show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. EAGLES, Eagles Country. Let's fly.